The list of fighters who have accused Ryan Garcia of quitting against Gervonta Davis has been growing almost on a daily basis over the past week. The first one was Tony Bellew. On Twitter, he said that Garcia spewed it. Spewed it is British slang for quitting. Bellew said, yes, they really hurt, as in body shots, but you've got to rise. Do it once and you'll do it again. Now, say what you like about Tony Bellew. He was always a tremendously brave fighter. You can never question his heart. Then there was Andy Ruiz, a former stablemate of Ryan Garcia, or training stablemate, not promotional stablemate. He said he felt like Ryan Garcia gave up. He said Garcia should have risked his life more. Now again, Andy Ruiz has obviously been a target for a lot of people who are upset by his comments, and obviously they're talking about his weight. I saw one person say that Ruiz risks his life at a buffet table. You guys are something else. Then we had Danny Garcia saying that Ryan Garcia quit against Gervonta Davis. Again, people having a go at Danny Garcia. Then we've got Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the latest. He said that Ryan Garcia straight up quit. He said, you've got to be willing to die for this in order to be a top fighter. That's how Teofimo Lopez and his dad feel. You also had Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. inferring that Garcia quit, and he said that he doesn't want to see Garcia fight ever again. Now, of course, some people have been having a go at him saying that he quit in his career, but the latest fighter to say that Ryan Garcia quit is none other than the Cobra, Carl Froch. On his YouTube channel, he said the following: as far as I'm concerned, if you stay down to a body shot and you haven't got broken ribs, which he didn't because he was walking around and giving hugs and handshakes to people after, if you go down to a body shot, you've got to get off the canvas, stand up, take your licks, and go out on your shield. Don't stay down to a body shot. If you do, you've quit. For me, Ryan Garcia quit. It's not good enough. You've got to stay in there and climb off the canvas. Let me tell you something. I've been hit with numerous body shots in numerous world title fights. You have to hold your breath if you can't breathe. Hold your breath. It might take 10 seconds. It might take 15 seconds. Move your legs and get out of harm's way. But for Ryan Garcia to go down and stay down, he didn't look like he was going to get up. But he could have got up. He got up straight away after the count was over and he was walking and talking. People are going to give me stick and say that's a bit harsh. But listen, I'm a fighter. I'm hardcore. I wouldn't have stayed down. For me, that was quitting. Now, there have been a couple of fighters who have come out to defend Ryan Garcia and say that he didn't quit, namely Regis Prograis and Oscar Valdez, but it seems as though there's more fighters saying he did quit than fighters saying he didn't. And based on what Regis Prograis said, as I mentioned in the last video on this subject, Prograis doesn't seem to understand what quitting actually is. He doesn't seem to understand the definition of quitting. Quitting isn't contingent on the absence of pain. That's what Regis Prograis seems to think, that if you're not in pain and you give up, that's quitting. But if you are in pain and you give up, that's not quitting. I don't know where this nonsense is coming from. Pick up a dictionary and read it. Look up the word quit. It is not contingent on the absence of pain. And as I've said previously, I'm not judging Ryan Garcia here. I'm not saying that if I was in his position, I wouldn't have done the same thing. But again, as I said in previous videos, there are fighters out there who would have gotten up in that situation. As Carl Froch pointed out, if Ryan Garcia was really completely paralyzed from the body shot, which does happen in certain instances, then how come he got straight up after the 10 count and was walking around and hugging people? That does not suggest that he couldn't have got up a second earlier, at the count of 9 or the count of 8. So you've got all these professional fighters who have been in tough fights, particularly the likes of Carl Froch, Andy Ruiz, Chavez Sr., and so on. They've been in tough fights. They know what it's like to get hit in the body. They know what it looks like when a fighter is really struggling from a body shot or he's been paralyzed from the body shot. And they also know what it looks like when a fighter decides to stay down when he could actually get up. Yes, I'm sure he's in pain, but he made a decision to remain on one knee until the 10 count was over. If you're upset by the fact that all these fighters are accusing Ryan Garcia of quitting, then you clearly don't understand the mentality of a lot of fighters. You just don't get it. In order to reach the pinnacle of this sport, unless you are incredibly gifted defensively, then you are going to take serious punishment at some point. And in order to overcome that, you have to have a very unusual and a very extreme mentality, a very strong will. That's what it takes. And so all these fighters coming out saying that Ryan Garcia quit, they don't think he has that mentality based on what he did there against Gervonta Davis. They don't think he's built like that. And best believe, future Ryan Garcia opponents are going to be thinking the same thing. They're going to look at what happened in that Tank Davis fight, and they're going to say to themselves, this guy's food. If I can drag him down into the trenches, I'll break his spirit. I've seen his breaking point. I can take him there as well. That's what they're going to be thinking. But as I've said in previous videos, there have been fighters in the past who quit and went on to redeem themselves with extremely brave performances. Ryan Garcia has the opportunity to do the same thing if he wants to. I'm not saying he should, because at the end of the day, showing that level of bravery and that level of toughness is extremely dangerous. You're putting your health in jeopardy, even more so than in most fights where you're not under the cosh to that extent. So that is what that is. This will probably be the last video I do on this subject, but let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast, where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.